Welcome, viewers. It was October 7, 2019, in Fort Myers, Florida, USA. 36-year-old Melissa Montanez was running a spa in the city. It was between 8:30 and 9 o'clock a.m. With a visibly angry expression, Melissa was walking quickly along the roadside right near her spa. A person sitting inside a car parked nearby spotted her through the side mirror. As Melissa approached the car, the person suddenly extended his hand out, trying to stop her. He attempted to speak with her, but already tense, Melissa responded angrily. That angered him. Without warning, he got out of the car and began acting brutally. He slapped her across the face multiple times and began strangling her. Melissa, unable to withstand the attack, tried to scream for help. But his grip on her throat was too tight. Even though it was daytime, the street was nearly empty. A few distant bystanders saw the struggle and quickly called 911. During the assault, Melissa suffered facial injuries. Her nose was broken, her lips were cut and bleeding. Then the attacker tried to force Melissa into his car. As the struggle escalated, her clothes began to tear. Because he hadn't parked the car properly, it began rolling backward. Distracted, he pushed Melissa aside to regain control of the car. In that split second, Melissa made a wise move. She jumped up and ran into a nearby shop for safety. Realizing she had escaped, the attacker fled the scene in his car. Little did Melissa know she had just escaped a far more dangerous fate. At first, police assumed this was just a case of assault, but that night they discovered the true nature of the man behind the attack. That day would become one of the most unforgettable in their careers. And on that very same day, in a different part of Florida, another disturbing psycho case was unfolding under another police station's jurisdiction. You're watching DCR Crime Decodes, and I'm your host, Krishi. Let's dive into today's story. Are you drawn to the darker side of reality, real crimes, shocking evidence, and unsolved mysteries? Then you found the right channel. Subscribe to my channel for more videos that explore crime scenes, mysterious cases, and shocking stories. Due to YouTube's content rules, I can't show everything here. But if you want to see the original crime scene photos and uncensored content, check out my Telegram channel. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more. Now, let's get into the first step of the investigation. The police arrived to speak with Melissa, but she was resting after receiving medical treatment. So it was her friend Amy who gave the initial statement. Amy had been present during the attack, but like many others nearby, fear froze her. Worried she might get hurt too, she stayed at a distance and called 911. Still, she saw everything unfold and told the officers exactly what happened. From her statement, police gathered two crucial clues that would help crack the case. We'll reveal the first clue a little later, but the second clue was this. The attacker had been driving a black Nissan Versa, although the car's registration number wasn't clearly visible. Amy's description of the vehicle and the brutal assault was detailed enough, so police quickly relayed the information to nearby patrol units and departments in surrounding areas, alerting them to be on the lookout for a black Nissan Versa involved in an attempted abduction. Just minutes after the attack, only 2 streets away from the scene in the parking lot of a nearby restaurant, patrol officers spotted a black Nissan Versa, matching the description. Inside the car, a man was sitting shirtless, his face marked with visible scratches likely from Melissa fighting back. One of the officers approached the car cautiously and asked the man what he was doing there. He replied calmly, saying he was just waiting to meet a friend, but the moment he realized why the officer was really there, his demeanor changed. Without warning, he sped off in the car. The officer tried to pursue him, but somehow, the man managed to escape. That moment turned the case from a simple assault investigation into something far more serious as the search for him intensified. Two emergency 911 calls came in, and what those calls revealed made it clear to police. This wasn't just an assault. This was the work of a dangerous individual. One of the 911 calls came from a man named Scott, panicked and distressed. He told police that just minutes earlier, he received a call from his office. They informed him that Diane, his, hadn't shown up for work that morning, but according to Scott, she left home on time, dressed and ready, just like any other day. When he tried calling her phone, it was switched off. Fearful that something was wrong, Scott immediately filed a missing person report. The police, now on high alert, began investigating Diane's case urgently. They reviewed nearby CCTV footage from the route Diane would have taken to work, and then they saw it. Diane was captured on video getting into a black Nissan car, the same model described in Melissa Montanez's attack earlier that morning. With that discovery, police shifted their full attention to tracking the black Nissan. It was now clear, this car wasn't just connected to one crime, it was potentially at the center of something much darker. At the very same time, 911 received another chilling call. This time, the caller identified himself as Joshua. He told officers that just moments earlier, someone he knew had come into his shop, his hands stained with blood. That person said something terrifying. "I murdered 2 girls." Shocked and panicked, he then asked Joshua to help him book flight tickets fast to escape town immediately. The moment officers heard this, they knew the situation had escalated. Without wasting a second, police rushed to Joshua's shop, and what they saw there shocked them further. Parked right outside the shop was a black Nissan car, the very same make and color linked to both Melissa's attack and Diane's disappearance. Police entered the shop and asked who was the man with blood-stained hands. After some initial questioning, they got a name: Wade Stephen Wilson. That's when the pieces started falling into place. Wade was the same person seen in the black Nissan earlier that morning, the one who attacked Melissa on the roadside, and now he was possibly connected to Diane's vanishing as well. Officers immediately began examining the Nissan parked outside. Inside the vehicle, on the seat, they found something damning: bloodstains. They also retrieved CCTV footage from Joshua's shop, and now they had a clear image of the suspect's face. Using the vehicle's number plate, police traced the car's ownership. It did not belong to Wade. It was registered to a 35-year-old woman named Christine Melton. That raised a chilling new question for investigators. If one of the 2 murdered girls Wade confessed to was Diane, was Christine Melton the second victim? Without delay, police rushed to Christine's residence to find out the truth. Officers arrived at Christine Melton's residence hoping they weren't too late. They rang the doorbell several times, but there was no response. When one officer tried the doorknob, to their surprise, the door was unlocked. As they stepped inside, a strong metallic scent hit them almost immediately, the unmistakable smell of blood. The house was in disarray. Furniture overturned, belongings scattered across the floor. It looked like a struggle had taken place. Room by room, the officers moved cautiously, and then, as they opened the door to one of the bedrooms, they saw it. Blood spattered across the walls and floor. In the far corner of the room, a large pile of clothes and a bedsheet had been hastily thrown together. The sight triggered a horrible suspicion. With dread settling in, they began removing the clothes one by one, hoping, praying, that what they feared wasn't true. But just minutes later, their worst fear was confirmed. Underneath the pile lay the lifeless body of Christine Melton, the woman whose name had just surfaced in their investigation, whose car was linked to multiple violent incidents that day. Had been murdered in her own home. It was now undeniable. Wade Stephen Wilson was not just a suspect, he was a killer on the run. The crime scene was immediately sealed. Christine Melton's body was recovered and sent for autopsy, while the forensic team was called in to examine the house in detail. Inside, there were no signs of forced entry, suggesting that Christine may have let her killer in. One key item was missing from the scene: Christine's mobile phone, nowhere to be found. But they did recover one crucial piece of potential evidence: a blood-stained iron left near the body. It appeared to have been used in the violent assault. The tragic news was then delivered to Christine's family by police, and as word spread, one person rushed to the scene in tears: her childhood friend, Stephanie, and Christine had been close since high school. Overcome with emotion, Stephanie broke down crying at the doorstep. During the police interview, Stephanie revealed something that added a new layer to the timeline. She had been with Christine in the house until around 6 a.m. that morning. This detail now helped investigators narrow the time of the murder and possibly identify. When Wade entered the house, Stephanie revealed more details to the investigators. She and Christine had gone out the previous night to Buddha Live, a nightclub in Fort Myers. There, around 2 a.m., they met a man who introduced himself simply as JRB after the club closed. Christine, Stephanie, and JRB shared a cab back to Christine's house. Curious, police asked, "Who is Junior?" Stephanie responded casually, "We met him at the club. That's all I know. We just started talking and we got along." She explained that once the bar shut down, they decided to hang out a bit longer at home. And then she added something crucial. "When I left Christine's house in the morning around 6 a.m., he was still there. He was alone with her." That immediately raised alarm bells for investigators. They then showed Stephanie the surveillance footage of Wade Stephen Wilson, the man now linked to both Melissa's assault and Christine's murder. And the moment she saw the image, she said without hesitation, "Yes, that's him. That's JRB." That single confirmation locked everything into place. JRB was Wade Stephen Wilson. He wasn't a random friendly stranger from the club. He was a murderer hiding in plain sight. What police heard next left them stunned. Just as shown in the beginning of this story, officers called spa owner Melissa Montanez in for a detailed investigation. You may remember that earlier, her friend Amy had given police two important clues. 1, the attacker came in a black Nissan car, and 2, there was something else, a more personal detail, now being revisited. During questioning, Melissa revealed something new. "I had a small argument with my boyfriend the day before," she said, "but this morning he called me from an unknown number and asked me to meet him near the spa to talk." At first glance, this might not seem like much, but then police asked a crucial question: "Who is your boyfriend?" And the answer shocked them. Melissa replied, "Wade Stephen Wilson." That's when it all came crashing together. The attacker who brutally assaulted Melissa, the man caught on CCTV with missing Diane, the killer who left Christine's body hidden under a pile of clothes, was Melissa's own boyfriend. Now understanding the full scope of the danger, police immediately tracked down Wade's location and, without delay, arrested him. During interrogation, Wade didn't stay silent. When asked about the 3 major incidents from that day, he confessed. And then, piece by piece, he began to tell his side of the story, a timeline of rage, obsession, and murder. It all began the night before October 6, 2019. It was a weekend, and like many others in Fort Myers, Melissa and Wade went out to enjoy the nightlife at Buddha Bar. At first, it was just dancing, drinks, and music. But the night took a dark turn. Wade, known for his violent temper, got into an argument with Melissa, and in his usual unpredictable way, he stormed out of the club in anger, leaving her behind. Still fueled by rage, he went to another bar, where he noticed a woman enjoying herself on the dance floor, Christine Melton. She was smiling, dancing carefree. Something about her caught his attention. He approached her and struck up a conversation. Christine, friendly by nature, responded politely. Soon after, Christine introduced Wade to her best friend, Stephanie, and just like that, within minutes, the 3 of them were chatting, laughing as if they'd known each other longer. When the bar closed, the 3 shared a cab back to Christine's home. It was just past 2 a.m. By then, Stephanie stayed for a few hours, but eventually left around 6 a.m. Christine, who had a night shift later that day, was preparing to sleep in a bit longer. But the peace in that home was short-lived, because the monster inside Wade, the one Melissa had feared, was now fully awake. Without warning, and with cold, calculated silence, he picked up an iron curtain rod from inside the house. Then he slowly approached Christine just as she was settling into sleep. In a sudden, violent outburst, he struck her in the head with the rod. Christine collapsed, dazed and in excruciating pain. She tried to react, but before she could, Wade pressed his foot down on her neck again and again until she took her final breath. Christine Melton, who had unknowingly invited a stranger into her home, was now his first victim of the day. After the brutal murder of Christine, Wade carefully moved her lifeless body to the corner of the room. He covered it with a pile of clothes in a rushed, detached manner, as if trying to erase the evidence. But he wasn't done. Wade took Christine's phone and her car keys and drove off, his mind consumed with rage and a sense of entitlement. On his way to meet Melissa, he repeatedly called her from Christine's phone, trying to disguise his identity and make his presence feel more urgent. This is why Melissa had told the police that her boyfriend had called her from an unknown number. She didn't know at the time it was Wade using Christine's phone. When Wade met her near the spa, what seemed like a normal conversation quickly turned into an attack. His anger erupted, and he assaulted Melissa, slapping her and strangling her with unrelenting fury. But luckily, Melissa was able to escape, fleeing just in time. Yet Wade wasn't done with his spree. As he left the scene, still boiling with anger, he spotted Diane, a woman he'd never met before, heading to her office. He offered her a ride, a simple gesture, and Diane, unsuspecting, got into his car. However, what was supposed to be a casual ride to work quickly turned into another nightmare. Instead of following the route Diane expected, Wade took a different path, one that led to an isolated area. Once they were in a secluded spot, Wade brutally attacked her without warning. He struck her repeatedly, and as she fought back, her face was injured, blood splattering throughout the car. Wade drove the car to an isolated location, a place where no one could hear the screams that were about to come. Inside the car, his attack on Diane escalated rapidly. He brutally beat her, landing blow after blow, but the real horror came when he strangled her, his hands tightening around her throat. He thought Diane was dead. Convinced she was gone, he went to push her out of the car. But when he tried to move her, he realized she was still alive, barely clinging to life. In his mind, that was a failure, and his fury only deepened. Without hesitation, he pushed her out of the car, and then, in a sickening moment of violence, he drove the car over her, running her over repeatedly. The force was so brutal, her flesh started to tear from her body. Her bones cracked, her limbs, chest, and spine breaking one by one. Through it all, Diane screamed a chilling cry of agony, but Wade didn't stop. He ran over her again and again until, after nearly 10 passes, her body was left broken and unrecognizable. In the end, he hid her lifeless body in a bush near the side of the road and left the scene. Once finished, Wade's confession ended with chilling finality. He had murdered 3 people that day, and he gave no remorse, no regret, just cold, calculated detail. On August 25, 2024, the court read Wade Stephen Wilson's final judgment. After hearing his confessions and the horrific details of his crimes, the jury deliberated on the punishment he deserved for the murder of 2 innocent women without any clear motive other than anger and rage. The decision was made death. The court concluded that death sentence was the only fitting punishment for his actions. And now, in Florida's prison system, Wade sits counting down his final days, awaiting the end of his brutal existence. So, my dear DCR investigators, what do you think about this case? We've covered a lot of psycho killer stories on this channel, but this one stands out. It's different. No twisted motives, no deep psychological breakdown, just pure, uncontrollable rage leading to senseless murder. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think of Wade's actions? Do you believe the death sentence was the right choice? Also, don't forget to let us know what case or topic you want to see covered next. The best comment could be featured in the next video. I'll meet you in another case. Until then, stay vigilant and stay safe. Thank you. Bye.